Hey everybody, it's Mark again, and today we're going to be working on something different. Um, I hope everybody is enjoying this Cuckoo clock repair for beginners set that I'm doing. I hope that you're learning things. I hope that you're able to work on your own cuckoo clocks and get them going. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button because it's free to do so. And but today we're going to be working on a clock that I bought, and I paid $25 for this clock. And so let's get started. Kick back, grab a cigarette, grab something to drink, grab something to eat, and let's learn things. This is a musical cuckoo clock where the governor fan is outside of the movement. The clock will run, but the music doesn't want to play, and so we're gonna take the clock apart. We're gonna take the bellows out, and we're gonna try to figure out what's going on with this clock. Here you can see that I paid, right here I paid $25 for the clock plus shipping. And so it's not a bad price for a clock like this with the count wheel outside, with the count wheel and the governor fan outside of the movement. Regular 71, regular 72, regular 701, and regular 702 have count wheels, governor fans that are outside of the housing. And as you can see, it tries to work, but it's not working. And so I want to take this clock apart and get it to working. I believe that the clock is made by Hubert Herr. And the reason why I say that is because of the way the minute hand system is set up. Hubert Herr always used a nut and then another piece that screwed down on the minute arbor with center wheel, and then the hour hand. But it has the square minute arbor system. And this clock I got the topper and the pendulum and all that with it. This clock has got a cuckoo bird that comes out one side, and it's got the little man that comes out the other side. And so I need to take the chains off. And I've worked on this clock in the past. It's been a while. And that's why these paper clips are on the chains. Now I used little plastic containers that were microwavable containers. They work really great to put your parts in. And if you are married, your wife will not get upset with you for using her dishes. I need to take the bellows out. The last chain, the paper clip, is up in the movement quite a bit. And you want to take note. You want to take plenty of pictures that I've always said of how the system is put together. I'm sorry about that. I've got my phone on airplane mode, and there's some program that's on my phone, even though it's on airplane mode, tries to load to the internet, and it stops my videos. But as I was saying, behind no bellow is the first bellow that you come to. And so we're going to take the bellows out. To get the movement out. A screw, and it's nailed in, which is the way the bellows should be. And once I get that bellow out, I'm going to put a tie around this bellow. That way I know that this wire is with this bellow. And as long as I got one of them tied down, if I can find my ties, here they are. As long as I got one bellow tied down, well then the other wire, if it comes off, I know which bellow it goes to. Now taking the low note bellow out, the screw, and then put a flat tip screwdriver alongside the bellow and give it a twist, and that will bring it off the nail. Now I have to release both the Cuckoo bird, and you see these wires just above the doors. Depending on who you talk to is depending on what these wires are for. I personally believe that these wires were utilized to stop the cuckoo from cuckooing at night. Some people will say that if you put the wires over these doors, that it screws up the movement. I disagree with those people. Other things will screw up the movement. There's a clock part supply webpage, and I will try to put it in the description of this video, that says that these wires are both used for shipping wires and nighttime shutoff. I know somebody who uses those wires every night to stop his clocks from cuckooing and playing music, and every day he does those wires, and it has never messed up his clock. I'm going to have to take the music box out before I can take the movement out. There's 2 screws on the side to take that music box out. Like I said, I worked on this clock before. I just never finished it. I got busy, or I got bored. My ADHD kicked in. Here's the music box. It's just a plain music box with the comb and nothing else. Just a gear to attach to the movement. Like I said, the governor is outside the movement. I'll let you listen to it. There is only one song, I believe, on this music box. I'm taking my pen here. Right here is the end of the song, and I'm going to mark that so I can see there's only one song. And I believe that plays on both the hour and the half hour is the way this is designed. So now I'm going to take the 4 screws out to get the movement out, and we'll get back with you. Here I have the movement out, and I was trying to find the plate design, and the only thing close to it is this right here, but it's not. And this right here is a regular plate 10, but it's not that because it's totally different design. So I still think this was made by Hubert Herr, but I'm not for sure. The way this works, when I push on this lever, this system over here, the Cuckoo, has got this wire that is attached to this system over here. And when it cuckoos, this wire, as you can see, is pulling on the music system. So as it cuckoos, it's pulling on the music system, which in turn pushes the little man outside the door. I just don't have it bent properly, which in turn starts the music to play. So to make the governor speed up, you loosen these screws, and as you can see, when you loosen these screws, you can change the position of these governor. I'll go ahead and do it so you can see it. That thing's tight. You don't want to loosen. Let me see if I can loosen the other one. And it don't want to move. But changing the position of these blades is what slows down or speeds up the fan. I'm going to have to put a couple drops of oil on this and then let that soak in. But this right here has got a screw on it also that you can tighten up the fan also. And what you do is you put a weight on this and loosen or tighten this screw right here, until the fan starts spinning properly. Again, when the cuckoo is tripped, it trips the music. So the music on these type of systems play on the hour and the half hour. I changed it around where I put the long lever on top and the short lever on the bottom, the long lever being the high note lift lever, the short note being the low note lift lever. I put them in the same section and they both lifted at the same time. So instead of messing with it, I just put the long lever on top. And as you can see now, the gong plays first, then the long lever, and then the short lever. And typically, the low note lift lever is underneath the high note lift lever. But when I had the low note lift lever underneath the high note lift lever, when the low note lift lever played, it pushed the high note lift lever up. So the high note lift lever would be cuckooing twice, and I didn't want that. So now it's time to go on to the next step, which is the music section. I also want to point out with this movement, I've got a video out there that shows you how to put the 8-point star wheel together for clocks that the 8-point star wheel is in between the plates and outside the plates. And what I say is that the tab for the gong has to be barely missing the gong, and that way the high note and the low note levers are in the same section together. But in this case, you should be able to see, let me get it to where in this magnifying glass, you should be able to see that the low note lever is in a spot all by itself and the high note lever is in a spot all by itself, but the gong is in a spot all by itself. And as long as the high note and the low note levers, as long as the high note lever plays first, and then, as long as the gong plays first, and then the high note lever, and then the low note lever, that's the only thing that matters. And when I trip it, watch what happens. Gong, high note lever, let me get back to it, sorry. I gotta put my fingers up here for the high note lever. So, gong, low note lever played first, and then the high note lever. And so, I'm going to have to either use this lever here for the high note lever, or put this high note lever on before the shorter lever, because the high note lever plays before the low note lever. And watch it again. Gong, short lever, and then the high lever. Watch it one more time. Gong, short lever, and then the long lever. So, like I said, in this particular movement, the shorter lever was either put on wrong or the short lever is used for the high note lever. Because the gong tab is exactly where it needs to be. So, anyway, in this case, this is the gong. This will be for the high note lever, and then this will be for the low note lever, because this is the one that plays last, the longer one. I must have put this one on in the wrong spot because I'm used to the long lever being at the very bottom. I'm going to see if I can move them around to see if it makes a difference, but as long as they function separately and that they're not lifting together is all that matters. Because if they lift together, you do not get a cuckoo. You get one coo. As long as they're lifting separately, you will get a cuckoo. But in this case, this is the coo, and this is the coo. I took the governor fan assembly off. I still got to put some drops of oil on there, but I want to show you how this screw down here functions. With me holding it, it's not turning that well. So if I loosen this, the screw, and then you got this nut right here to lock the screw into place. If I keep my fingers off the gear, as you can see now it's turning freely. And I believe that is what you want. If I loosen the nut, and I'm going to tighten up the screw, for those people who think I had my fingers on the gear. Now I got my fingers off the gear, and it doesn't turn freely. So again, loosening the screw to give it a little bit of end shake, and then tightening that nut, because with clocks you want some end shake. So now this turns freely. I've had these screws soaking in oil for about 20 minutes. Put a screwdriver on it. They still don't want to loosen up. I don't want to break them, just to show you what to do. So you're going to have to trust me on this. You loosen these screws, and these fan blades move. And the different position in the fan blade will cause the fan to slow down, because it creates a drag. Closing it up will cause the music to speed up because there's less drag. So hopefully I don't have to slow the music down. But again, you want to be able to do this. If you can't, then you adjust the screw. It's the same type of setup on a floating balance in a spring-driven movement. The balance will start to spin properly when you got this screw properly tightened. Now we're going to hook weights up to this later, but I just want to show you how it functions. Again, when the Cuckoo is tripped, this lever pulls on this wire, which in turn trips the music. But the Cuckoo will play first, and then after the Cuckoo is done playing, the music plays. I got the wire on the wrong side. When the music plays, this lever here comes out of this cam. And I don't know if you could see, if I can rotate this enough for you to see. Here's the cam right here. And that cam has a slot in it. And so when the music plays, that lever is rotated out of that slot. There you could see the B slot right here, or what I call the Pac-Man. You should be able to see it. And so the music is playing until, and you're going to be able to see that mouth again, or that B slot, if you watch right here. As the music plays, there's the slot right here. And as the music is playing, that cam is rotating, and at the end, it's going to fall into the tab that's on the end of this lever. And that's what stops the music. There you could see the mouth again, and you might be able to see the tab right here that it's fixing to fall into. And there the music stops. There's also 2 warning pans on this thing. One, I believe, is for when the Cuckoo is playing, it stops the music because it's hitting this tab right here. and I'm not for sure exactly what the other one is for. I haven't paid attention to it that much. As you can see, when I rotate this, this is going to hit. There's a tab that's on the end of this. That is what also stops the music. And then the other one is when the Cuckoo plays, it rotates to hit that tab until the Cuckoo is done playing, and then the music starts up. So the next thing we're going to do is put this thing on the stand with weights, but I'm also, as you can see, I'm looking at this lever right here. This lever right here, just like on all the other antique movements, catches two tabs. There's a tab here, and there's a tab 180 degrees right here. One for the hour and one for the half hour. And so I'm going to put pressure on the Cuckoo side wheel, great wheel, as I rotate this shaft to see if that tab is bent just right, which it is, because the Cuckoo starts playing. But the Cuckoo's not stopping, and I think it's because the music has started, and that's why the Cuckoo is not stopping, because the music has to play after the Cuckoo. Bang. There's the music playing. The music has stopped, and now the Cuckoo should stop. There it does. As you can see, it's not cuckooing anymore. So every time the cuckoos on this clock, the music plays also. And this mechanism also has a compression washer under the minute wheel with minute pinion to control the hands from dropping. And also, if I cannot easily rotate this, it's because that compression washer is too tight. And the great wheel on the time side is what controls this minute wheel with minute pinion, in turn controls the hour pipe and the minute arbor with center wheel. And so, like I said, the next step I'm going to do is connect some chains and the weights to the Cuckoo side and to the music side. Now, I hope that you could see what I'm doing. I've got my movement stand on my desk here, and I got my video camera on my bed, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm turning the minute arbor, and I'm going to give you a heads up. The Cuckoo's going to play, but the music box won't play, and I'll explain why here in a second. the music didn't play. And the reason why the music didn't play is because this arm that trips the music is not bent right. So if I was to push on the music, there it has to go into warning, and there, after it goes into warning, the music is playing, and then it's fixing to go in that cam, and it will stop playing. So I need to adjust that wire some that trips the music, and this is just a matter of trial and error is what it is. And there I got it adjusted too much because the man is too far out. So tripping the Cuckoo. The music did go into warning some, but as you can see, hopefully you can see, the man is hitting the fan blades. Now, I don't have the movement in the case, and the man connected to the door could be preventing him from hitting the fan blade. Sorry, I had the camera in the wrong position. So I'll show it to you again. Whenever the music is done, see, the man is hitting the fan blades. Watch what happens when it cuckoos. Remember I told you there are 2 pins on that third wheel with warning wheel. One pin is to stop the music after it's done, and the other pin is to allow the fan blade to spin a little bit while the cuckoo is cuckooing, but it stops the fan blade, and so it's in warning. So watch what happens when it cuckoos. The fan blade is going to turn some. Okay, but it couldn't finish because the little man is catching the fan blades. So let me put it in cuckoo mode again. It's cuckooing. It's done. The little man is catching the fan blade. But like I said, it might not be catching the fan blade if this movement was in the case. But this part is playing good. That was on the hour. I'm going to see what happens on the half hour. On the half hour, it doesn't look like the music does play because when I pull the little man away from the fan blades, like I did on the hour, the little man the fan blades didn't continue to rotate. So the only way to really tell is to connect it all up and see whether or not the music weight falls the same time frame as the time and the cuckoo weights. if the music weight is falling slower, then I have to pull this movement out and figure out a way to make it play the music on the half hour. But here's the hour. Cuckoo is playing, the fan blade goes into warning. When it's done cuckooing, if I pull the little man away from the fan blades, it plays the music. Also, I want to talk a little bit about the chains. Because this is an older movement, I don't believe it came with the chains and the weights. I would have to look at my pictures again. So I put a set of chains on, and these just happen to be 1 day, regular 25 1-day chains, and they do not slip on the ratchet wheel, so they work. If they were slipping as the weight comes down, I would have to come up with a different chain. I'm sorry, I keep moving the camera the wrong way. So, one more time, it just got through cuckooing 12 o'clock. This is 12:30. It doesn't play music on the half hour. This is 1 o'clock. It plays music on the hour. I am going to put some grease on this wheel right here. I already got the movement oiled, and I use, as you've seen in my previous videos, I use synthetic motor oil 0-20. As long as it starts with a 0, that's what you want. But I'm going to put some synthetic grease on this wheel right here because it is constantly being moved, and so I think just a light dab of grease on this. Oil will just fall on the floor. So I think I'm going to put a slight dab of lithium grease on this gear right here because it's constantly being moved around. And when you're working on a movement, a lot of people think that the crutch assembly needs to be straight as narrow. Okay, but if I was to pull on the chain that's a crutch for the great wheel, as you can see, it's not moving. They don't have to be straight as narrow. I don't have the pendulum leader assembly in this. I don't need it for what I'm doing. But if I was to put a little bit of bend in it, and as you can see, it's now moving. So again, they don't have to be straight as narrow. But because I told you that this clock didn't have weights with it, I'm going to do my water test to find out what size weights it needs. I have the bucket that I'm going to pour water in attached to it, and I want to look to see this crutch assembly swing back and forth rapidly as I add water. And there it's going back and forth rapidly But I'm going to stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. And then, because it seems to be doing well, I'm going to go weigh that bucket. The test for the time side shows that it takes 275 gram weights. But I'm going to do the test for the Cuckoo side and the music side. But I'm also, when I put it back in its case, I'll have to do another test, because once you hook up the bellows and the music, it takes more friction or more weight is what I'm getting at. So I'm going to see, in order to do this test, I'm going to have to take this out of the way, because the Cuckoo will not be able to go out the door. I was putting it there because I was adding weight. So I'm going to go ahead and add the bucket to the Cuckoo side for the 275 gram weights and trip the Cuckoo. And as you can see, the Cuckoo don't want to play because there's not enough weight in it. So I'm going to add more water to the Cuckoo side. And that was quite a bit of water that I had to add to it in order for it to play. But it's playing properly. So now I'm going to go weigh this bucket of water. It weighs 22 ounces, which is a little over 600 grams. So now I'm going to do the water test to the music side and see what happens. Lever got on the other side of the music. So the water test of 22 ounces of water is making the music side work also. So the gram of weights is about 630 grams. The weights that I have, that I chose, are 740 grams. And I think those would work just fine. On the time side, it's going to make it tick a little bit more. It might wear out the bushings. Well, it will wear out the bushings more on the time side. But the Cuckoo side and the music side takes over 600 grams of weight. By the time you add the bellows and the music to it, the weights that I chose, which are 740 grams, will work just fine. But like I said, on the time side, because 275 grams of weight makes the leader swing, it'll wear out the bushings faster. How fast? I have no idea. So now it's time to put this movement back into the case and hook everything up. I hope y'all are enjoying this video. I hope that you're learning things, because that's why I do this, And if you are enjoying this video, please hit the subscribe button to show me some love. It's free to do so. Please leave me comments. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the notification bell to get notifications from YouTube that I have a new video posted. And before I put the movement and bellows and everything into the case, I want to go ahead and clean up the case. So I'm going to clean up this case with some Howard beading wax. It takes a little bit longer than using Old English oil. It's a wax on, wax off type process. But that's just what I decided to use for this case. And so let's move the camera over here some, and hopefully you could see squirting some onto the top of the case. Before, after. Before, after. And of course, I have to wipe it all off afterwards. Because like I said, it's a wax on, wax off type of deal. And I always clean the inside of the cases too. It just, you know, a lot of spider webs and everything get collected inside the case. So I like cleaning it off. That's just me. Again, these are my clocks. I do what I want. You do what you want. Now I'm going to have to look at my pictures of when I bought this clock and find the topper. I got it around here. I got the movement back into the case, and I noticed that this before, I just didn't fix it. The birch and crutch assembly post, which is threaded into this plate, was loose. And if there's any vibration whatsoever, it will stop your clock. I tried to tighten it up. It goes all the way to the threads, and instead of the birch and crutch assembly being parallel with the ground, it was this part was at the 3 o'clock position instead of being at the 6 o'clock position. So because the way this clock is designed, there's a screw that allows this plate to come out. I took it out, examined it, and I put some super glue on it. And that way it's now at the 6 o'clock position and it's tight. So now I'm going to put this back onto the movement, and whether you could see what I'm doing or not, I'm not really for sure. I'm going to try to allow you to see what I'm doing, but this screw fits into this hole, which goes onto the movement itself. And so you have to line the birch assembly up with the pivot hole. And then there's another pin on that plate that goes into the movement plate that you have to line up before you can actually put everything down. So now I'm putting the screw in, and I'll point to that screw so you can see. This screw right here, I'm tightening this screw up. Like I said, if you have any wobbliness whatsoever in the movement, if anything is loose, the clock will not tick. So I had to tighten that up. Some of them are pinged in. Most of them screw in, and this one screwed in. It's just that it was the threads, I guess, were worn out, we'll call it. And so now I'm putting the weights on the clock. Like I said, now I'm putting the weights on the clock. And I have to put the pendulum leader on. And get it in beat. But I had to make sure that post was tight before I could do any of that. Now I'm going to take these needle nose pliers and tighten up the pendulum leader wire. Or at least try to. And the birch is bent out a little bit. I need to fix it. I also, because I took everything apart, I need to put a couple drops of oil onto the pivot hole because I took it all out, so it's dry. So stand by. And I want to trip the Cuckoo and music before I put the Bellows and the music box in. I want to see if all is working the way it should. I just need to put a nut on that post so I could turn it. I need to put a nut on the minute arbor, is what I'm saying. I want to be able to turn it. There's the Cuckoo, and the music is playing, but that was on the half hour. And when we had it out of the box, it only played music on the hour. So let's trip to the hour. Here's the hour, and the music is playing. And the music stops. Here goes the half hour. And the music is playing. So my next question is, are the Cuckoo and music weights dropping evenly? And by the way, yes, I have a different weight on the hour because I couldn't find enough weights that are this size, so I put a little bit heavier one on the hour. And when I'm all done, I might need to put heavier ones on the Cuckoo and the music, because I told you with the added things to do, it might take more weight. So here goes the hour. Cuckoo drops. The music is dropping. So far the Cuckoo's down a little bit more than the music. So here's the half hour. Cuckoo, and now music. They're about even as far as them dropping. This clock might have been designed to play music on both the hour and the half hour. I'm not going to know until I run it for a day. But our next step is to put the music in. And I didn't want to put the music in until after the clock played the music, because I got some Rodico that I'm putting on the music drum. Right after it played, that way I can install the music box. This wheel here goes onto the great wheel for the music. And so I'm going to put that in, and I might have to adjust this one way or another. So stand by and let me go ahead and put this music box in. The Rodico is to keep the wheel in place until after I install this music box. I have the music box installed, but the screws you don't want to tighten down too tight, because you might have to turn the music box a little bit. I'm taking my Rodico off. You might have to turn the music box a little bit to get it in line just right. So now I'm going to trip the music. And that sounded good. Everything did what it's supposed to do. So now I'm holding the music box in place. And now what we're going to do is turn the minute arbor, and you're going to see the Cuckoo function first. I don't have the Bellows connected to it yet. And then the music will play. And it stops. And that's why I took the governor fan off and adjusted it the way I did. So now it's time to connect the bellows. Remember, I got to put the high note lip bellow on this arm here, because that's the one I want to use, or try to use. So stand by and let me connect the bellows. You remember me telling you about the holes in the bellows, and how the holes in the bellows would change the sound of the bellow? Here they got 1, 2, 3 holes in this bellow, and we're going to cover them up one at a time. Now here it's got original leather bellow being utilized, and here is original leather bellow also. But I feel air coming out of something. So I have to figure out where the sound is being lost. I took some tape off, and here they got 1, 2, 3, 4 holes in this bellow. So I'm going to put some more tape down to cover up those holes. To try to get a better sound. You know, because this is original bellow, and you know me, or if you don't, you should. I like using the original product. Sounds a lot better. So now I have to figure out which one is the high note and which one's the low note. And I have to do the same thing here so I can get the right sound. I had a chat with a friend of mine who's got better ears than me. I could have put in my hearing aids, but it was him and I chat all the time anyway. Anyway, this is the high note bellow, and this is the low note bellow. So anyway, the low note bellow's got the trip wires for the cuckoo bird, so we're gonna put him in first. I think there was a reason why the the longer wire was on the bottom and the shorter wire was in the middle. And in this case, the shorter wire would be for the high note lip bellow. Because with the longer wire being where it's at, it's hitting the virgin crutch assembly. And no matter how I bend it, it is messing up. So I'm going to take the bellows back out and put those wires where they originally were. Just as I was saying before, the high note lip bellow, which is the first bellow that you see, in this case is connected to the shorter wire. And this is the first time that I've came across something like this. The low note lift bellow, which is the brother's bellow, the one that lifts the cuckoo, is connected to the longest wire. Because if the longest wire was out toward the rear of the clock, it would affect the birch and crutch assembly. And so when I trip the cuckoo, it cuckoos and then the music plays. And as you can see, the weights are falling evenly. Now, that was on the, I want to say the 1 o'clock position where, or sorry, the 12:30 position. That was 1 o'clock position. The little man comes back inside. That's the 1:30 position. And again, you can see the weights are falling evenly. This should be the 2 o'clock position. And I want to recap what I said about this music box. First, you want to take the governor assembly out and loosen this thumb nut, loosen the screw, and tighten the screw until you can flick it and it spins around, and then tighten the nut which locks that screw in place. Next, there are 2 pins on the third wheel with warning pin. One to help stop the music when the music is done. It hits that cam lever, that lever that goes into the cam, into the B of that cam. And the second pin on that third wheel warning wheel is to stop the music while the cuckoo is playing. And I'm going to prove that right now by holding the lever that activates the cuckoo. It goes into warning. Sorry, right now it's in warning, so I have to turn the minute wheel some. Let me get done playing the music, then I'm gonna turn the minute wheel some. And let me allow it to get through with the music, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to hold the wire in to bring out the arm out of the count wheel, and the music went into warning, but see, I'm not allowing it to go into any of the slots. And so whenever it gets done cuckooing, when I let go of that lever, it's going to go into one of the tabs. And then the second pin on that third wheel warning wheel gets out of the way, and it allows the music to play. Also, when you put the music box in, leave the screws loose until you can maneuver the music box to get the music to play. And once it plays, tighten up the screws that hold the music box in place. If your music is in a bind, more than likely it's because the music box is twisted. So all you have to do is loosen these screws that hold the plywood in and twist the music box to allow the music to play evenly, and then tighten up the screws. The band blades, in this case, I could not loosen those screws, but if your music is playing too fast, you loosen the screws that are underneath that band blade and reposition those band blades to drag more air, and then tighten up the screws. And of course I use Rodico to, and you could see with me using Rodico, the notes for the song have not started. I used Rodico to find the end of the music, put Rodico against the music drum and the comb until I put the music box in, and then I took the Rodico off. And sometimes little pieces of Rodico might be left on the comb, so you want to take that off. Now I looked in my folder that every time I purchase a clock, I make a folder and I put all these pictures from the webpage, such as eBay or Marketplace, wherever, and I put that in my folder on my external hard drive of my computer, and it shows where I bought the clock, how much I paid for the clock to include shipping, and all the pictures. And that way, when I get the clock in, if it's different from what the pictures were on the place where I bought it, such as something's broken, then I make a claim against that, saying I bought this clock in this condition, and now it's in this condition. And depending on where you buy it, eBay now has guaranteed buyer's satisfaction, and so that could hurt the seller. But depending on where you buy it is depending on whether or not you're going to get any refund or not. But I couldn't find the pictures on this particular clock. I'm pretty sure I paid about $40 for this clock to include shipping, and I'm pretty sure I know where I bought it, but I can't think of it. But I can't locate my topper. I've got parts scattered all over the place, but I will find it. I do have the pendulum right here for it. It matches this clock. I do not know who made the clock. It was made in the 50s or earlier. They started painting these clocks around in this color around the end of the 50s. And so I'm pretty sure this clock was made in the 50s. let me go ahead and turn it around for you so you can see it. And even though it doesn't say Hubert Herr on it, I'm pretty sure it's a Hubert Herr made clock. I'm working on the dial. The dial is actually a wooden dial. I've got to put a couple numbers on and then put it back on. And then I have to find a set of hands. But as I said, Hubert Herr uses this type of system to put the nut, to set up the hour hand and the minute hand. So I'm pretty sure it's a Hubert Herr clock. But we'll go ahead and let you hear it one last time. I hope y'all like this video. On a different note, I showed you this clock before. This is the Antique Baller and Son Cuckoo clock. Here's the original topper that came with it. And yes, part of it's missing and part of it's broken and the antler is broken. But this is the original topper that came with that clock. As I was looking for parts for the clock that I'm working on, a musical cuckoo clock, I found the topper, and I was just wanting to show you that. I hope y'all enjoyed this video of me working on this musical cuckoo clock that it was made in the, again, I'm estimating here, in the mid to late 50s with the count wheel system on it. I hope that you learned something. I mainly did this video because there was a guy in another group who was asking questions on this same system, and he didn't know how to synchronize the music to get it to play. He said it would play part way, but I mainly made this video to help him out, and because it's a count wheel system with the musical governor on top of the music. I have a regular 701 movement that I've mentioned a few times that goes in that big box and grapes cuckoo clock that I bought. And the regular 701 has a musical governor that's on top of the movement also. So hopefully I will be doing a video on repairing that clock or finish repairing that clock. I will probably record what I already have on YouTube and add what I'm repairing of what I need to do to that clock. But my friend has a regular 72 movement that is a musical clock, and he needs help with that. And so again, the older clocks like this, because they have a count wheel on them, they're 1950s or prior. The regular 701, which is a one-day musical, the regular 701, which is a one-day with or without music. The regular 702, which is an 8-day with or without music. and then the regular 71, which is a 1 day with or without music, and the regular 72, which is an 8 day with or without music. With the music, they have the musical governor on top of the outside of the movement. But anyway, I hope y'all like this video. If you stayed with me this long, please leave me comments. Please hit the subscribe button and the notification button and the like button to receive more videos from me. I hope I'm helping you out. I hope that you learned something. And that's the main course of this video set, is to teach people what I have stored up here. May God bless each and every one of you.